I will call a meeting in order, the regular meeting of the North Augusta Board of Zoning Appeals for May 6, 2025. First item on the agenda is a roll call here, so.
London Smith.
Kathy Stallworth.
Kevin Skaggs.
Bill Burkhalter. Jim Newman.
The next item is approval of the minutes from the April meeting. And I do have some kind of a general comment. And I'll just start off with it. If you notice in all the meetings, sections that are written, the flow goes from end of the public hearing to a motion. It makes no reference to any of our discussion. So for each one of these, right where it says Mr. Jim Newman made a motion, I'd like to make an amendment saying, and this is kind of simple, it just says, after the board read and discussed each of the related criteria, Mr. Jim Newman made the motion to approve with conditions, blah, blah, blah. Does that make sense?
Sure, yeah, that was one of my issues.
And let me read it again for you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So in each one of these, I guess Mr. Newman made the motion. So right before that sentence, I would say after the board read and discussed each of the related criteria, comma, then you go into Mr. Jim Newman made a motion to approve. Maybe in the future she could add, or if we could add some of the more key discussion points made, that would be good too. I understand. All right. That's my comment.
Okay, page 1. Mr. Paradise stated that this zoned RT in a single-family attached neighborhood. Now, that is not an attached neighborhood, is it?
No. If it's R10, it's not single family attached. You're correct.
Right, okay.
So I don't have that file in front of me. Let me double check and see if the single family is wrong, single family attached is wrong, or the R10 is wrong, unless you know which one it is.
Okay, but in that neighborhood, they're not attached.
They're not? Okay. Then it's R10.
That's over in
Single
Crestline,
family.
right?
Yes.
Yeah, those aren't attached houses. They stand alone.
Okay. Gotcha.
Okay, and this is sort of what Kevin was, Chairman Skaggs opened the public hearing on the back of page, so it's on page 2, I guess. Chairman Skaggs opened the public hearing at 6:04 for citizens' input. There was nobody present to speak, and the hearing was closed at 6:08. So nobody's talking, and we've got 4 minutes in there.
Nobody other than the applicant.
Right, but see,
Applicant
it's,
or Tommy.
yeah. So I think that needs to be addressed.
Be clarified.
Sorry.
See, it
Go ahead,
says,
take it.
It's spam.
oh.
Anybody important knows I'm in here. All right. Now,
Well, above that, it says Mr. Jabali stated he only needs a table. So he is speaking, but we've opened the public. So I think this is.
There was no additional.
he should go underneath.
Underneath that. But they're all like that.
Right.
All right.
That
Okay.
sentence needs some clarification.
That would go under that would be a paragraph between Chairman Skaggs and Mr. Newman.
Yes, exactly.
Would you?
But then we also need to say that he opened the public hearing for citizens. There was nobody present to speak, but see, Mr. Jabali spoke. The applicant spoke. I don't think anybody
The
else
public
did.
hearing starts
When he speaks.
as soon as I start. Yeah, right.
Right.
Yeah, that's when the public hearing starts.
Right.
I'm with
So
you.
we're confused there. And then
and I'll just change that second sentence to read, the hearing was closed at 6:08.
There you go.
I think so, right.
That looks
Okay, down in the paragraph number 3 under 6, I think it's just grammatically wrong. Mr. Falal stated the only reason to use his property is to use his computer. Everything he is doing, which he has been doing for 25 years, that's not a complete sentence. So that sentence needs to be reworked. It's the same thing he's already been doing for 25 years.
Everything he is doing.
You can scratch out which.
I think it's just scratch out which. That's why I've got that circled. Everything he is doing, he has been doing for 25 years. So
Okay.
just scratch out the which. Then Chairman Skaggs opened the public hearing at 6:29 for citizens' input. But see, that should be at the beginning. There was nobody present to speak, and this hearing was closed at 6:38. So it looks like we just sat around here for 11 minutes.
So I moved that up to under the first paragraph.
Yes, exactly. But leave out there was no one present to speak because,
There was.
yeah.
And can I ask y'all a question since we're going over this? Do you need the times it opened and closed?
I don't know.
For records?
I don't know. It doesn't hurt to have, but I didn't know how specific, y'all wanted something like that.
I wasn't checking it, so I mean.
Yeah, we weren't checking.
I don't think she's put that in before.
I don't know.
I don't think the Times has been in there
I don't
before.
think the times have been in there before.
I don't think it's that important.
Yeah, okay.
But my question, though,
Biggest thing is that you had the public hearing. Yes, sir.
Right, exactly.
my question is, and I know we're wasting these guys' time, but this is for our clarifications for this to go into records in case something does come back against us, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. So we kind of need the more the merrier, even though you can pull the tapes on this, because this is going to be their first quick pull.
Well, that's why I'm
attorneys to
so
look at.
adamant that it be absolutely correct, as correct as we can get it.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Okay.
Okay.
And then on, I don't know, number 8, on the back of that,
Hang on. Let me see.
the second sentence, we don't have a page number. Ms. Turner stated their jobs will be done at either homes or businesses, either. Yeah, the
okay,
first, second sentence, way at the top, Tommy.
We're on number 8, correct?
Number 8 of ZE 25-007.
I'm with you.
Okay, it's at the top. It's at the back of that page.
Second line.
Second line.
Gotcha.
Ether needs to be changed to either EITHER. And again, he's opened the public hearing. There's nobody present, and so we need to switch that around. And
Right.
just
It goes back to the first page.
Yeah.
right. Okay. On where Miss Debbie Pope of 105 Balsam Lane, this is on the next page. Second paragraph.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, are you there?
Yes,
The
ma'am.
last sentence. We want the sign to represent what it should, that sanctuary and more, so it needs to represent God. That doesn't
We want to
doesn't make
represent.
sense. You see that? We want the sign to represent what it should, that sanctuary and more, so it needs to represent God.
I'm going to go check the tape on that one.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what she
said
said,
something
but
along those lines.
she said something along those lines, but it made sense when she said it. So, or at least I thought it made sense.
I've got one just for Kathy.
Say what now?
I said I have one just for Kathy. You don't have to change it. I just want you to know I read the minutes on the previous page from the one she was just talking about, down in 003, third line down where it says Mr. Paradise, where you start. The word "thee" is just "thee," not not the biblical V. THEE.
Where was that?
Where we
I
at?
missed that
It's on
one.
the previous page.
I see that, but
003, the second paragraph, third sentence down. Wants to take down the damage sign.
oh, oh, I missed that. Oh my gosh.
That killed me.
All right. Once again, Chairman Skaggs opened the public hearing.
Just a second. Let me find this one.
It's not.
Gotcha. I got it. I found it.
Okay. And then again, I did find a typo in one of theirs. See, we've got the public hearing in the wrong place. See that?
Right.
And that's it.
I didn't have any more. Did anybody else have any?
I can't compete with that.
Good? All right, you done? All right. With all these amendments, I have a motion to approve as amended. You have a second?
Second.
All right. All in favor, raise your hand. All right, good. Thanks for bearing with us here. Okay. Next item is confirmation of the agenda. I'd like to have, on the very end, after we're done with all this, I did want to ask one question about signage, so.
We'll add that to the agenda, discussion about signage.
Yes. Do I need to say anything else about that?
I think you're good.
Okay.
Well, my thought on that, I wanted to talk about that too, but mine is on signage according to the development code.
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
I think we're on the same page.
Right. Okay.
Okay, do we need a motion to approve that, or we just?
It wouldn't hurt to approve the amended agenda.
Yeah, a motion
So
to-
moved.
All right, good. We'll consider it changed then. Thank you.
And for the minute's sake, the board voted to add discussion about development code signage as item 5 on the agenda.
Okay, so we got a motion, a second,
Yeah.
can vote to approve the amended agenda? All right, we're good, all right. All right, now, get the business. First item is ZV 25-004, an appeal by Center Street Development LLC for variance from Article 9 signs, Section 9.6.3.2.b to allow internally illuminated signage by allowing halo illuminated lighting in the downtown mixed-use 2 district. The request affects approximately 0.73 acres on downtown mixed-use 2, located at 200 Georgia Avenue, TPN 007-14-10-006. And now I will open up the public hearing for this particular application. And Mr. Paradise, can
Yes, sir.
Summarize
This
for us.
is a project that y'all probably don't know a lot about. It is strategically located across the street here. So you had to see it when you came into this building. Yeah, I need to be more serious, I guess. But anyway, this is part of the Gateway project that's undergoing the city. It is much larger than what we normally see. It's a large building similar to the MedX, similar to our building here. And what they're asking for is the halo signage to be allowed there. It's about 0.73 acres zone downtown mixed use 2. Gives you an idea of what it looks like now. If you look at the aerial over here, it does not look like that anymore because there's a building there. They're coming along with it rather well. They've started putting in landscaping over there. But you see it goes, it's actually, and I didn't really realize this till we started posting signs over there. There's really 4 street frontages to that building. And And of course, the code requires us to post each street frontage. So that's why there's one on Center and one on Bluff, and one down in the alley as well. And this is what it looks like so far today. You can see it is, I don't want to say, Tommy Paradise, it looks good, but I shouldn't say that because that's an opinion. But it is certainly much nicer than what was there previously and offers a lot of opportunity for business in the downtown area. And then this gives you a layout of how the signs will go and where they'll go. And I will let the applicant explain more about where they go and how they go. But the actual request that they're asking for is they're asking for 131.93 square feet of internally illuminated wall signage in the downtown mixed-use 2 district to be halo illuminated. They're not asking for blanket internally illuminated. That's how it was phrased in the staff report because it is. But they're specifically asking for the halo type illumination that y'all have seen before across the street, down at Swank's, and I didn't realize it, but on the new public safety building. Any questions for me?
Yeah, I had a couple. So in the requirements, I guess the 9.6.3.2.b, those requirements for the signs in the downtown mixed use 2, they apply to wall signs and monument signs, all signs, is that right? Unless it specifically says a wall sign.
Correct, sir.
And the reason I asked that is there was some wording in the staff notes of one of these that kind of got me confused regarding that. So
There was, at one time, it was, in some districts, it is, you may have 200 square feet for wall sign, 100 square feet for a freestanding sign maximum, and then 300 total. But I don't believe it's like that in the downtown mixed use. I believe it's 200 total for everything.
Is that the highway corridor?
We don't have that anymore. That would be more of your thoroughfare commercial, general commercial. That kind of stuff.
Are these considered individual buildings, or is that one building?
That would be one building.
So the one building is 200 square feet per side, like facing Georgia, facing Center, or 200 in that whole building all the way around?
200 all the way around, unless somebody shows me something different. That is an excellent question. It's not something I've thought about. But the sign code says 200 square feet. So, yeah, it's 200 square feet.
And how many are they asking for?
113.
So, I mean, they're legal,
Correct.
technically.
Yeah, the only thing that they're asking for, they could do exactly what they want to do as long as they didn't internally illuminate it. As long as they didn't put halo lighting there, they could do it tomorrow.
Okay, now, curiosity question. This is just for my information. So just like with these, the Beacon Bluff up top. So each letter, that's how they figure the square footage, or is it, 12 foot long by a foot tall? Is it just a square, or they got down to the, I don't want to be an ass, I guess, but I'm just curious because like the big BB on the tower, that's a big circle. Are we talking about on this, it's a big white square with a black circle? So is that whole thing the sign, or are we just looking at the B that is being
You're
illuminated?
The way our sign code's written, it would be the DB.
Okay.
It's, you would box that typically. Now, there is something generally that if a sign, if it's an irregularly shaped sign maker can show the math and show you how he calculated the irregularly shaped sign, and we could accept that. But typically, it's a box. Now, was it a lot easier to measure that
Well, yeah.
whole white thing? Yeah. But our code doesn't. And just like you wouldn't measure the wall behind the building. What you see there, and the architect or the contractors in the room, but I believe that's the wall of the building. So you've got the RB on the wall.
They got dimensions of their signs in the package.
Correct.
Okay. I was just curious of how you think. Get the
Typically,
numbers.
typically it is box, but hopefully we don't get that close. And hopefully it stays kind of simple. But sometimes we get these unique ones, like the Beacon's Bluff, that we have to stop and figure. But this one we've got the numbers on. Ms. Felder has checked those numbers and gone over them and verified them. So we feel comfortable with that 113 square feet.
All right. So if we approve the halo lighting, what happens if one of these buildings, we don't need this much space, and they add another parcel in there, one of these rooms, do they have to come back for getting that one halo, or are we just addressing this as the whole building?
Right now,
halo.
we're addressing the signage that's in your packet.
So if he comes back and they add, or if they change one building, business goes out of business, and another sign comes in, do we have to prove that again?
I would say no, as long as it's the same square footage going in the same place and it's halo illuminated. If it's going to be significantly different in size, I would say yes. Especially if it's larger in size, I would say yes, because that's different than what y'all approved.
And if they do add something into one of these wings that doesn't have a sign on it, because if you look here between B and D at the bottom picture, if that one with the white door, they add something in there, we've got to make sure it's less than 200 square
Correct.
feet as well, and that it's,
Now,
would that come back?
if they added additional halo lighting there, other than what's in your packet, they would need to come back.
Oh.
Having said that, I don't believe that there is anything, and this is where y'all can put something in the motion if I'm wrong, or if you disagree. But if it was not halo lighting, but there was no internal illumination, it's externally illuminated, I think that could go on the sign on the building as long as they stayed under the 200 square feet without y'all having to sign off on that one.
It's 200 square feet total for all the signs.
Yes, sir.
Not each sign.
Correct.
The total.
Correct.
Go back to the first thing. Can we put an ad that say if any new sign comes in that it's got to match existing halo type lighting, as long as it's less than 200 square feet, and that keep us from coming back? And does this also include that is the stickers that they put on the window that says, the name of the business and the hours, does that include technically signage?
It's all in how far into the weeds you want to go, Mr. Dillon.
I mean,
Could we technically call that signage? Probably.
Yeah.
But do we? That's like a enter and exit sign.
Yeah.
You have one door that enter, one door. There's just some things that is
But at the same time, I'm just kind of throwing things out there. Let's take the Brinks, whatever it's called, and he starts putting neon beer lights in the windows. Not saying that he's going to do that. But I mean, is that considered signage? And it's getting away from what we have approved, which I know neon's acceptable, unbelievably. But
If any signage, and this is where it gets tricky, okay? If you can see it from the street, it's signage. And that's why when you ask me hours and stuff, typically that's so small you can't see it if you're standing on the street.
or if the boutique writes on their sale, whether it's with if they're having a sale on the windows. I mean,
But typically those type of things the flashing lights and that kind of stuff, we could classify that as signage when it's set on the window to be displayed outside.
Any more questions for Mr. Paradise?
hey, that was on a roll.
I thought you finished. I thought you
No, I'm good.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you. Applicant, come forward, please. And I need to swear you in. You swear to tell truth, whole truth, but truth, so help you God.
Yes, sir.
And state your name and address, please, for the record.
Yes, my name is Fletcher Dickard. I'm here representing Allen Batchelor Construction and the developer of this project. Our address is 1120 Jones Street, Augusta, Georgia.
Anything you want to add? I had a couple questions, but go ahead.
No, I don't think there's anything I want to add other than I think what you were talking about as you read under item 6. I think staff mentioned a monument sign. Yeah, nothing's being proposed as a monument sign. All the signage is building mounted. But happy to answer any questions you or the rest of the board have.
While we have this picture pulled up,
Yes, sir.
I was trying to figure out where the 132 square foot came up, see if I could just if I understood it. And does each one of these C's and D's represent a sign? I mean, I was just trying to add up the 132 square foot. And so how many like A's do we have? How many B's? How many C's? How many D's? I'm looking at that's kind of.
So the A's, you just got it on those 2 points.
Correct. And the BB is not going to be on 4 sides. So it's only on 2. And you can see that there's a calculation in your package on the BB page. It shows quantity 2 and number of square footage.
Right. Okay.
So
I
on and
saw
so
that.
forth. So there's just 2 of those.
How many C's? I'm sorry.
C's, I believe we only have one of those.
Which is the top.
And then how many D's?
D's, I believe we only have,
Looks like 3.
correct.
There's 3 shown here, but I didn't know the math didn't add up.
It appears that we have. And I'm probably not the best one to ask on quantities of each one of these. I know the developer had worked with staff.
I didn't know whether we were
the exact calculation.
I didn't know whether we were seeing one entrance twice in these pictures. That's why I was.
Do they represent suites?
Correct, or potential suites. I think it's fair to say that some of this is definitive and some of it is placeholder.
So the boutique might be something else.
Right, but we had to come before you, in order to get signage approved, we needed to create a plan to account for all the signage locations that the developer anticipated, and to then allocate so much square footage to each one of those so that tenants knew you only had this much square footage for signage.
The write-up mentions the word patients. Is there any medical services in here, or is that just a copy-paste error?
There's no medical uses at this time that
all
I'm
right.
aware of.
Okay.
Nothing that I'm building over there is a medical use.
It may have been a copy-paste.
Yeah, I think it was from the other application.
Yeah. I think I'm good.
Could you walk through, just for point of interest? I know like the buildings are obviously separated. What is, you say it's mixed use? What is business use? What's home, or I guess residency? And do we know any of the businesses that are going in there at this time?
Sure, happy to answer that. So, one thing that may be misleading is what you see is a building that looks like, 4 or 5 different buildings, and so you may think that inside the building the spaces are broken up that way. That's not the case. Like the entire second floor is one tenant currently, and so even though
You have somebody for that?
yes, there is a tenant for that, and that's Corona's Health. That's who was in. Their name used to be Medac. They changed their name to Corona. So that was part of this whole project. They were going to move from the building, the former Medac building, to this space. But so it's kind of misleading when you look on the outside. You may think it's a whole bunch of different spaces, but the whole second floor is business office. And the whole third floor is business office as well. There's 3 spaces up there. The developer's taking one of the spaces. One space is for North Augusta Ford, and then there's a unclaimed space at this moment. The first floor, about approximately half of the first floor is Brink's Tavern. So that'll be a restaurant use. The other half of the first floor, to my knowledge, has not been spoken for.
What Medic changed their name to?
Corona's Health. That name was changed actually years ago, but they never changed it on the building.
Are there going to be any accent lights? I know there's a lot of lines on this building. I'm seeing like right underneath the Beacon Bluff, I guess, sign right there. There's sort of a line that goes across. Is there going to be any lights that sort of accent the building at all, or?
Most of the building is being just lit from street lights.
Street lights. You're not going to have any going up to the building or lining the building at all.
We do not have a mass lighting effort that's going on the outside of the building. There are some landscape lightings going in that's in the courtyard. I'm sure some of that may bleed over, and there's some probably on the front of the building that's going to light up some trees. I'm not exactly sure. The landscape lighting is not part of my scope of work, but I do know the outdoor lighting perspectives is doing some landscape lighting. But to be honest, most of this building's pretty lit up by all the street lights.
There's a sidewalk, it looks like, in the front of that building. It's going to go around the front side. The sidewalk on the front side is going to go around the building. I'm assuming there. Okay.
Yeah, there has to be sidewalks all the way around because those doors, most of the doors that are on the street side are not. They may look like the front door, but they're not the front door, but they are egress doors. So you have to have means of egress. So yeah, there's sidewalks all the way around the building.
But this shows lighting, street light type signs out. I mean, lights in front of the sidewalks. Is that?
I think that was artistic.
And those would probably fall under the city anyway.
Yeah, and there are several street lights
Existing.
over there. Yeah, existing over there. And some of them actually weren't working, but my understanding is they're now working.
Oh, you cut the wires.
Not
okay.
me, but I got blamed for it. I think the prior contractor did. But anyway, we helped the city fix it.
Yeah, I'm good with everything.
You got any questions? Good? Everybody good? All right, thank you.
Sure. Thank you.
Okay, I'm supposed to ask, does anybody else want to come in and speak for or against this?
You sure?
All right. All right. I'll close the public hearing, and now we'll enter the consideration phase. And rather than read the criteria all through it, we will discuss it as I read it. So there are 11 criteria. Is that right? 11 criteria, and you got to answer in the affirmative for all of them in order to get a motion to approve. 10 criteria. All right. Thank you. Okay. Number 1, first criteria is unnecessary hardship exists. The applicant states that the current code, while allowing neon tubing signs, prohibits the center from displaying halo lighted signage. Standardized signage that can be seen after dark is paramount in confirming for the general public that they are in the correct location to buy goods or receive services. Numerous of our tenants have hours of operation after dark, and a softly lighted sign is the only method for general public to identify the location at night. Customers dining and shopping in the evening hours provides a vibrancy to the downtown that is appealing and helpful to other downtown business owners, and also contributes to improved public safety in general. In addition, equipment service and supply vendors may require access to our building at night after business operations. At times, these vendors are not from our community and have little knowledge of how to find us. Having soft lighted halo signs will be helpful with them identifying our premises at night. And then the staff notes, while internal illumination is not allowed, staff notes that the section 9.3.c would allow illuminated neon signage where graphics and letters and neon tubing there. So anyway, unnecessary hardship exists. I see it as to have business visibility at night, and it's a hardship to be seen with different businesses.
Right, I agree with that.
About anything else? Oh, I have no problem. You're good?
I'm good.
So we are good with number one. Number two, there are extraordinary and exceptional conditions pertaining to the particular piece of property. The applicant states that the geographic site represents several unique challenges that a soft internally lighted signs would help address. First, a municipal building located adjacent to our building is one of the largest structures in North America, North Augusta. And towers 4 stories into the air. It essentially blocks all traffic coming from the south from being able to see our building, and they are immediately in front of our address. Second, our location serves as a gateway entrance into our cities, lying approximately equal distance from our traditional downtown and our new riverfront developments. We are a linchpin or a connector location that should ideally reflect the charm of both districts. Halo soft lighted signage is the standard in signage along the riverfront. References the attached halo illuminated signage for Brinkley's and Swank, and helps us bring some of the new and elegant design feel toward the traditional downtown. At the same time, the signage has a classic style that reinforces the image you see as you enter this traditional section of our downtown. Finally, the Augusta Oncology Cancer Treatment Center is located on the corner parcel next door to our center and has halo soft lighted signage on the facade on our center. Provides a complementary and cohesive appearance for that entire corner location. It's a smart compromise design to recognize and reflect the importance of our unique location. The staff notes the mass of the building is different than most buildings in the district that may result in an external illumination offering limited visibility of the signage from the street level. The applicant is correct that the municipal building is adjacent to the property and somewhat obstructs visibility from traffic traveling into North Augusta using Georgia Avenue. So the extraordinary and exceptional conditions pertaining to the property. We good with this one?
I'm good.
I'm good too. So we're good with number two. 3, the conditions do not generally apply to other property in the vicinity. The applicant states that the conditions surrounding our building do not exist for any other businesses, as there are none located immediately adjacent to the municipal building and or the Augusta Oncology Cancer Center. We are uniquely surrounded by a large public structure and a 60,000 square foot medical center on 2 sides that dominate the skyline and attract much of the attention of passersby. We are unaware of any other location downtown with 2 very large multi-story structures adjoining the parcel. And then staff notes, staff would agree that this building is unique to the downtown mixed-use 2 district and has large public building on the left side and 2 other commercial buildings on the right and rear of the building. So they do agree that the conditions do not generally apply to other property in the vicinity.
Right.
Correct. We're good? I'm good too. So we're good with 3. Number 4, because of the conditions, the application of this chapter to the particular piece of property would effectively prohibit or unreasonably restrict the utilization of the property. The applicant states that the unreasonable restriction which limits the visibility of our building has the potential to confuse customers as to where our services are located. As such, if customers cannot locate us, they are more apt to find alternatives for shopping and dining that are not located within our community. Staff notes that signage is regulated by the zoning district and not their particular use. So I think it's unreasonably restricting visibility at night.
Mhm.
Reasonable part of it. That'll be good? Yeah.
Mhm.
So we're good with 4. Number 5, the authorization of a variance will not be of substantial detriment to adjacent property or to the public good, and the character of the district will not be harmed by the granting of the variance. Harm to the character of the district may include structures that are significantly out of scale and creation or potential for the creation of excessive noise, light, traffic, or incompatible late-night activity. The applicant states that the requested halo signage would not be a substantial detriment to the adjacent property or harmful to the character of the district for several reasons. First, the signage complies with all other requirements of Section 9 of the Development Code. Next, the site lighting being used for the sign is soft lighting that illuminates the building behind and not direct front-facing light. Next, this type of lighting is very effectively utilized in an aesthetically pleasing manner in signage in the immediately adjacent parcel containing a medical provider and in commercial district of Riverside Village, as the attached photos show. Provider in the commercial district of Riverside Village, as the attached photos show. Mentions Augusta County College, Swank, and Brinkley signage. Next, there are no residentially zoned properties located near the signage location, and thus no residential parcels will be impacted. And finally, the lighting does not produce front-facing or reflective glare as to be a distraction or hazard for vehicles and pedestrians. Staff notes the proposed signage does not affect any residential properties in the area or dominate over other signage allowed in the district. Proposal halo lighting of the wall signs may allow a more unified and aesthetically pleasing site for the property.
Okay.
I'm good with this. I'm good too. So we're saying a halo light is not excessive light. Okay, so we're good with 5. Number 6. In the approval of an application for variance from the provision of halo Article 9 signs regulating the size, height, appearance, or location of a sign, the Board of Zoning Appeals shall also find that no alternative signage solution that complies with the provisions of Article 9 is available and would provide adequate visibility, recognition, and understanding. The applicant states that all provisions of Section 9 of the Development Code are met by the requested signage with the exception of the internal illumination. We have selected the least light emitting design available that will still effectively draw our customers' attention to our building. The code approved alternative of neon tubing would produce more front face lighting and glare than our proposed illumination method. The area surrounding our building has numerous parking lots and related sites lighting. In addition, the street lighting on Georgia Avenue, Bluff Avenue, and Center Street combined with the aforementioned parking lot lighting to give a universal white light to the area. An externally lighted sign in this area would simply blend into the background and go relatively unnoticed. This neon tubing sign would likely be our next best code-approved alternative. However, we believe the proposed soft-lighted halo signage would create a low light-emitting sign with muted color hues that will be visible to those looking to locate our services. This signage is not intended to be bright and attention-getting for the general public. The method of light emission reflects light against the building and not front-facing light. It was selected specifically to get as close to a code compliance as possible while still accomplishing the goal of internal illumination in the signage. We believe our ability to reach and inform those, this word patients, seeking our services as well as vendors and patient transport services such as ambulances will be compromised.
I think that was a cut and
I
paste
think that was
error.
cut and paste. But anyway, staff notes, section 9.6.3.2.c of the North Augusta Development Code states that externally illuminated signs and signs in which the letters or graphics are constructed of neon tubing are permitted in the downtown mixed-use 2 district. Staff notes that neon tubing signage is an alternative signage solution for the internally illuminated monument signage. That's what I was referencing earlier in my questions. The total area of signage requested in the variance is 131.93 square feet. So we're saying that this alternative is an improved alternative than the signs. It doesn't give the front facing light glare. So
As I've said before, that neon tubing is tacky.
so I'm good with this one.
I am too.
You're good? All right, good. So we're good with 6. Number 7, the Board of Zoning Appeals may not grant a variance. In fact, would be A, to allow establishment of a use not otherwise permitted in the zoning district. Staff notes the use of the property is commercial use for restaurants, retail, and office space, which is allowed in downtown mixed use 2. The applicant is not requesting establishment of a use not otherwise permitted in the district. B, to extend physically a non-conforming use of land. The variance does not extend a physically non-conforming use of land. And C, to change zoning district boundaries shown on the official zoning map. And the application does not propose a change to the zoning district boundaries. So we are good with 7.
All right.
Okay, number 8, if the unnecessary hardship is self-imposed by the applicant, the variance should not be granted. The applicant's request is not self-imposed, but requested due to the particular nature and circumstances of the property. And it's an improvement over the neon tubing, and it's kind of consistent with what's kind of been done nearby the halo lighting. So I think I'm good with 8. You're good? Yeah, so we're good with 8. Number 9, the fact that the property may be utilized more properly should a variance be granted shall not be considered grounds for a variance. And the staff notes the applicant's request is not based on making the property more profitable. The construction for the use has already been permitted and under construction. This is pleasing. And did you want to add any more to this one?
Well, more profitable because you want people to see it, but you know that's always my hang up.
But we don't want tacky neons.
Right, I'm okay.
I'm okay with 9. You everybody good? Good, Jim?
Yep.
All right. 10, in granting a variance, the Board of Zoning Appeals may attach to it such conditions regarding the location, character, or other features of the proposed building structure or use by the board may consider advisable to promote the public health, safety, or general welfare. And then they recommend 2 conditions if we approve. That says there may be others. All right, number 1, the signage installed shall utilize halo illumination and be of the design as shown in the application by the applicant. Number 2, the second condition. The variance is specific to this application and does not run with the land or other signage.
So that's what you were.
Yeah,
I have
a couple of concerns about both of them.
Okay.
Right now, they just told us boutique is just there to take up space because it might actually be called something else. So if we approve this based on this, they want to put called Paris, shop called Paris, they won't have to do something else, correct? Because the way that just read is that by this application. I don't think, are y'all putting something up, or are they gonna be putting something called the boutique up? Yeah. And so that is correct, but I think the wordage on 10, it says it's to this application, so at this application, we need to put basically to the wordage, right? Yeah.
So number 1 could be say the signage installed shall utilize halo illumination and be of the design square footage as shown in the application by the applicant.
Yes.
I think that's better, yeah.
And then the same thing that, on number 2, the variances for this application only, but like I brought up earlier, if one of those buildings either changes names or one of those wings that they can carve out another little section to open another little business, and they put a sign in there, why can't we need to cover that, and so we're not here again, that it's, it follows the in style of the existing with the halo lighting, but as long as it does not go over the 200 square feet. So if you're looking at the picture up here, and you look at the bottom picture, you got a B, and you have nothing, and you got D. They can go in there and put something in that metal building, or in that middle building between B and D on the thing. If they put a sign up there, we're gonna be right back here again, just
So-
like what we talked about at Medevac.
So to address that, do we eliminate number 2 and just, that comment falls under the first one? As long as it's within the design square footage, they're good. Are we saying the same thing?
I mean, for the most part, if they add signs, as long as it's in the design square footage, utilizing the halo lighting, because at the same time, we got B that's halo and D that's halo. We don't want somebody to come in the middle now and put neon.
I think that's better than referencing the exact wording.
Yeah, because I
Yeah,
mean, the
I think
exact
you do
wording, that's
square
going to
footage
change.
versus wording.
We don't want some, no offense, nail salon come in there and neon lighting. No, I'll see it working.
So,
And you understand where I'm, everybody trying to cover. All right, say that again so Bill can write it down, because he's going to do the motion on this one.
do we want to say that? Because if they put like an open sign in the window or something, does that count? You've seen those little neon looking open signs.
Yeah, see.
Yeah.
I would think that we would not want to put a requirement that all has to be halo. In the event, I could foresee, I don't know, you could have small signage, especially for professional office, that's not meant to be huge signage that you're gonna, because there's an entrance that goes to an elevator lobby. I could see us needing to potentially put a sign up, message board type sign that says suite number, lists off the multiple. Like if you go to go up to Jackson Square, there's some signage that tells you the 8 tenants that are on the second floor. We wouldn't want our hands tied that would have to be halo lit.
I agree with that, but I'm looking at the signs that are facing Center Street and Martintown, or not Georgia. That and then I guess you can say bluff to some extent. I don't, like I said, one, I don't want to see, no offense, don't want to see him again. We don't want him to be here to be talking about.
I appreciate that.
For a little sign. That
This is third time.
I know, for the same thing. And I think on the first time I tried to get this all blanketed. It didn't go that way, but I don't want to be back. I understand it's our job, This building is already, you know, the building next door, the building down there, the Green Jackets has all got this. And then come in another business in here that, yeah, at the director's guidance, at least, you know, that we put something in liking or, you know, in style and keeping of what's there. Because I noticed the old skating rink has got wood carved or sandblast type signs, which are fine for that building.
Let me make another swing at this. And you're fine.
So you might as well
Reach over and slap me. The signage installed shall, any illuminated signage installed on the exterior walls shall be halo type illumination.
in keeping with what was submitted, right?
Well, you can do that, or I had opened the door further.
Oh, so if this could be a 6-foot sign, and then another one could be an 18-foot sign.
Correct. And I don't know if you want to go that or not. That's y'all's call.
And then we could put it at the approval and the direction of Mr. Tommy Paradise. P-A-R-D.
So did I get this? I said, any external illuminated signage shall be halo illumination. Is that right?
Yeah, I put any illuminated signage installed on exterior walls shall utilize halo illumination and shall be of the design square.
Well, that goes back to what.
And that takes
said
out
that-
the window signs.
Yeah, but that doesn't take out for when he, you know, personal elevator entrance.
Right.
Or, I mean, we don't want that. We won't go back to placard.
Right.
Or he can put that on.
But that wouldn't be illuminated.
They can do
But
that.
it would still fall under the 200 square
But
foot.
it fall
Right.
So is that a third condition, or is that replace number 2?
I think that replaces number 1 and number 2.
Yeah, I think that's what
I think it replaces both of those.
Okay.
The way I see it, you could put a, enter here sign. If it's not illuminated, you can do that all day long. Without, I mean, you can do that no matter what. I understand, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So, let me read as modified the first. It says any illuminated signage installed on exterior walls shall utilize halo illumination and be of the design and square footage consistent with and as shown on the application of the applicant, or should I say, or in accord with.
Well, do y'all want it in accordance with what was submitted, or do you want to give them free reign with the 200 square feet and halo illumination?
I'd say give them free reign, because if they change the name of boutique to Paris, like you're saying, we're back in here.
Right.
So why don't we do square footage and
Halo illumination and square footage.
Yeah.
Oh, well, with the, in keeping with the design, but not as submitted.
Got this?
I mean, I don't think you're gonna put up anything, that's
Don't
not
have a
in
dancing
keeping.
girl poster. Inside,
Right.
I think the developer's going to be very particular.
I think so.
I think so too.
When you
I
look
don't
at the
know.
investment over there,
So we just got one condition.
I'm gonna read it again. Any illuminated signage installed on exterior walls shall utilize halo illumination and shall be of the design and shall be of the design and meet square footage requirements. And we say consistent with North Augusta
development code.
Development code.
Development Code.
Okay, so if he puts up a 10 square foot sign that says exit to the elevator or entrance to the elevator, I'll take. So now he's only have 190 foot of.
that's not
Signage.
illuminated. That would be
Yeah, but
unilluminated
all
sign.
signage, exterior signage is 200.
Correct. Oh, okay. So you
That-
can't. I see what you're
yeah.
saying.
So as long as he does not mean signage. You hear that? Yeah, that needs to be added.
That needs to be added.
Yes.
Consistently.
That at the end of the day, no more than 200 square foot of exterior signage
Per the code.
per development.
Well, I got consistent with North Augusta Development Code.
Yeah.
Limitations.
I would refer it to the development code in case something changes. Stays.
I
You
just
know,
want to make sure I
if the
didn't want,
development code changed and let them have 500 square feet, then yeah, or if they changed and only let them have 100 square feet, well,
You want to say current development code requirements, or just leave it open?
I'd leave it open under the development code
North
requirement.
Augusta Development Code.
Right?
So it's going to be consistent with North Augusta Development Code square footage requirements.
Okay. So, we have answered in the affirmative for all 10, with one condition. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll offer a motion.
That you good.
Regarding items ZV 25-004, a request by Beacon Bluff related to the property at 200 Georgia Avenue, parcel number 007-14-10-006, a .73 acre tract, seeking signage variance from section 9.6.3.2 to allow internally illuminated signage in the downtown mixed-use 2 district. The board having positively found in previous discussions for each of the 10 necessary considerations in order to grant a variance under this section, I move that the Board of Zoning Appeals approve the requested variance with the following condition. Any illuminated signage installed on exterior walls shall utilize halo illumination and be of the design and meet square footage requirements of the North Augusta Development Code.
Okay.
Second.
We can have a motion and a second. Ms. Stallworth, any more discussion on this? All right. All in favor, raise your hand. It's unanimous. Thank you.
Mr. Burkhalter, could I get you to read that sentence back to me, that condition, one more time?
That condition.
take a picture of it.
Any illuminated signage installed or on exterior walls shall utilize halo illumination and be of the design and meet square footage requirements consistent with the North Augusta Development Code. I don't know that it really needs to say design. Got all the,
We ain't changing it now.
there's kind of designs, but it's all
We
right.
voted and approved it.
We know what we meant.
All right. Thank you.
I just have one thing I want to say to Fletcher. Would you go back to Tom? Would you go back to the slide before this? I think it's before this. Do you see how those windows look green? We were having a discussion coming in about the green windows, and he didn't know which ones I was talking about, but they look green. Yeah. Right. Okay. Thanks. I just wanted to
All
show
right.
you that.
Next item is ZB 25-005, an appeal by Durban Development for a variance for the maximum front setback from Article 4 zoning districts established, Section 4.12.7, general commercial of the North Augusta Development Code. The request affects approximately 1.13 acres, zone GC general commercial located off Edgefield Road near Edgewood Drive, a portion of TPN 006-12-05-005. Now I'll open up the public hearing for this application. Mr. Paradise, can you start us off?
Yes, sir. This is an application by Urban Development for, there is a maximum setback of 80 feet in the general commercial district. Property zone general commercial, so that would apply. They would like to develop this parcel. The only problem is the I don't know if you can see this up there
That
or
was
not.
not a good picture.
Yeah.
It wasn't Google's best day.
Yeah. But you'll notice this area here and over here, there's a depression there. And that is the detention pond for the stormwater for the entire shopping center funnels through there and then goes out. So it's about 80 feet back.
About how
Be-
much?
About 80 feet
80.
before, or else they'll have to build in the detention pond, which you can't do, or redesign the storm drainage for the entire project, the entire shopping center. So that's why they're asking for a relief from the 80-foot maximum setback requirement, so they don't have to build in the detention pond. And the detention pond is something that has been there, or I don't know when that was done, but Mr. Ziza brought it to our attention. When you look at it, you miss it, or I did, until he brought it to my attention, and I go, you're right. It does gradually. So that is what they're asking for the variance for. And y'all have any questions for me?
I don't. I'm good.
No question for you.
Okay. Applicant, please. I gotta swear you in. Swear to tell truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
State your name and address, please, for the record.
Stephen Knutson, Durban Development, 106 Foster Avenue, Charlotte, North Carolina.
Okay. Can you add any more to this, please?
No, I really don't have too much to add. We worked pretty closely with the staff on putting together their report. I think it's pretty complete, but if you have any questions as you're reviewing it, then
So this
please
is
let me know.
what's a drive-through
Coffee
coffee-
concept.
coffee?
Yes, sir.
So basically, if you did, you would lose the drive-through if you had to.
Correct.
Without the
Yes, I
variance,
think
you lose it.
we're asking for an extension of the max about 27 feet. It's listed on the site plan there. But a good portion of that is the front drive-through area. Yes.
And is it going to be a building,
Correct. Yes,
Okay,
it
not
is a
a-
full building.
food truck kind of
No,
building?
it's a small building. It's got a walk-up window as well as a drive-through feature, so it's pedestrian friendly as well.
And this is a franchise?
Yes, it is. It's a Dutch Bros Coffee. They have a lot of locations out west, but they're just starting to expand into the southeast. And we're working with them in various South Carolina locations.
And I'm okay with neon lighting for that kind of place.
Good to know.
Any other questions?
No.
I think I'm good. Thank you. All right, I gotta ask, anybody else wanna come forward and speak for or against? Nobody. I'll close the public hearing and start the consideration phase of this, and this is the variance. We'll go through the same process we just went through. So, the first criteria is an unnecessary hardship exists. The applicant states that the maximum setback of 80 feet set by the Development Code would create unnecessary hardship of forcing development to modify an existing stormwater detention system that would not be required if the maximum setback did not exist or was increased. The applicant is voluntarily requesting an increase to the maximum front setback from 80 feet to 110 feet, rather than requesting a complete elimination of the requirement. The specificity of this request allows for relief from the previously mentioned hardships while minimizing potential adverse impacts of the variance. Staff notes that the maximum front setback for general commercial zoning district is 80 feet. The stormwater detention area is located in front of the existing parcel and the adjacent parcel within the maximum setback area within stormwater detention area reaching approximately 80 feet from the front property line. And unnecessary hardship exists because you'd have to redo the whole stormwater system to keep his
Shopping
drive-through
center.
service, So I'm good with this
To sell a
hardship.
lot of coffee to do
Yeah.
that, right?
I'm good with number one. Everybody else good? We're good with one. Number two, there are extraordinary and exceptional conditions pertaining to the particular piece of property. The applicant states that the extraordinary condition to the property in question is the existing stormwater detention pond located on the property adjacent to the front property line. The existing system takes up a majority of the 80-foot maximum setback area and prevents the applicant from laying out a plan that meets the requirements as written. Staff notes that the stormwater detention area is located in front of the adjacent property. So that's the stormwater detention pond is the extraordinary condition. So I'm good with number 2.
I'm good.
Number 3, the conditions do not generally apply to other property in the vicinity. The applicant states that the property in question is part of the larger shopping center development that was constructed previously and included in these frontage stormwater detention ponds. Other property in the area that are not part of the parcels included in this shopping center development would not be subject to this hardship condition. Staff notes that a minor subdivision plat was submitted for the subject parcel and was approved in 2021 as an out parcel. The out parcel is adjacent to a larger shopping center development and parking lot with an established stormwater detention pond area that serves a larger shopping center development and will be part of the proposed development of the subject property. So are we good with number 3, the conditions do not generally apply to other property? I
good.
agree. I'm good with that. Everybody good?
Sorry, I am.
Okay, number 4. Because of the conditions of the applicant of this chapter, application of this chapter to a particular piece of property would effectively prohibit or unreasonably restrict the utilization of the property. The applicant states that the front setback maximum to the development code unreasonably restricts the utilization of the property by requiring any development to complete stormwater measure detrimental to the feasibility that would otherwise not be necessary without the maximum setback. And he would have to eliminate an important part of the business, which is the drive-through. So I'm good with number 4. Oh. Okay. We good? Okay, number 5. The authorization of a variance will not be a substantial detriment to adjacent property or to the public good, and the character of the district will not be harmed by the granting of the variance. Harm to the character of the district may include structures that are significant of scale and the creation of potential for the creation of excessive noise, light, traffic, or incompatible late-night activity. The applicant states that the granting of the variance, requested variance, will not be of substantial detriment to adjacent property or to the public good because it allows for the development of an overgrown and underused impervious area that there would be otherwise be limited to commercial options. The increased setback maximum would also avoid visual impacts that the new construction could create if placed within the area required by the development code. Staff notes that the variance request does not impact the health or safety of the public.
It'll be an improvement.
Yeah, I'm good with 5. Everybody good? Good. Number 6. That's NA, because that's signs. All right, number 7. The Board of Zoning Appeals may not grant a variance, the effect of which would be A, to allow the establishment of a use not otherwise permitted in the zoning district. And staff notes the commercial uses are allowed in the general commercial zoning district within the stated regulatory limits. B, to extend physically a non-conforming use of land. And this variance does not extend to physically non-conforming use of land. Or C, to change zoning district boundaries shown on the official zoning map. And this application does not propose a change to the zoning district boundaries, and so we are good with number 7. Number 8, if the unnecessary hardship is self-imposed by the applicant, the variance should not be granted. The applicant states that the hardship is not self-imposed, it's existing stormwater feature on the property that the new development is designing around. And staff notes that the stormwater feature precedes the current proposed development. I am good with number 8. We good? We good? Okay, number 9, the fact that the property may be utilized more profitably should a variance be granted shall not be considered grounds for a variance. Staff recognizes that should variance be granted, the property would not Staff recognizes that should the variance be granted, the property would not operate more profitably.
That's an oxymoron there.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh.
most of your business, I guess, is drive-through.
So I think that if we grant the variance, the property would be utilized more profitably, but that would be to the city's advantage. I mean, he doesn't even have anything there. And if you let this come there, it's certainly gonna be more profitable, but not.
And let me say this, yeah, this is profitability, and it's good for the city to have a functioning business there. But also think back to your training, and if and I'm not an attorney, okay? But I'm just sitting here thinking, if you've got an 80-foot detention pond in there, and you can't build, you've got an 80-foot maximum setback, is that a regulatory takings? Because there is no way he can build on that property without a variance. And that's one of the things I think through on this application.
But not just out of curiosity, why is the whole parking lot retention pond on that piece of property separately? Shouldn't that be part of separated? Wouldn't that, or should have that been separated from that piece of property altogether?
Well, it went over here.
No. That is, when that property was developed, there probably wasn't a maximum setback. There is, you're talking about something that's been there for years. So, what should have, when should have, how should have.
My curiosity, you don't have to maintain that. It's not yours, it's on the property. That's just a curiosity question. Has nothing to do with this. We can finish that. But, you know,
I would say he's the engineer, and that was probably a property owner's question.
So we, so,
I'm too.
I'm good, and we're all, are you good? Lynn?
I'm good.
So we're good. We're good with number 9. All right. Number 10, in granting a variance, the Board of Zoning Appeals may attach to it such conditions regarding the location, character, or other features of the proposed building structure or use as the board may consider advisable to promote public health, safety, or general welfare. That's two conditions recommended by staff for this. One, this variance, if granted, will apply only to this property and will not apply to any future development on the site should this plan not be developed. And 2, this variance will require that the building footprint be constructed as conceptually shown in the exhibits. Are we good with both of those? I'm good. Good. London?
Yeah, I'm good. I do think that's a good question though. Like, and it kind of pertains to this. I mean, if it is his responsibility to keep this thing up and clean it out when necessary or whatever, I mean, is that? It's not really part of. I mean, this discussion, I guess. But is that something he's going to have to do? That is part of his property, right? From what he was saying.
That is a stormwater question for the
Yeah.
stormwater department,
Oh, okay.
and it's not something that's in the planning department's purview.
Okay.
If I had to guess, I bet that whoever owns the whole shopping center, in their inner tenant agreements, have everybody shares a little bit in whatever it costs to maintain
Okay.
retention pond. That would be typically the way those.
So when he gains some of that setback as part of his property, and that becomes part of the property, there's no sale of land or anything like that. I'm thinking accounting wise on that too.
There-
but it is
That's
asset.
subject parcel up there.
Yeah.
It's already subdivided. It's already a parcel.
Yeah.
And so, they'll purchase that parcel, which happens to include this.
So if as long as he owns the property, if he never even builds this thing, he's still gonna have to maintain that thing or figure out some
Yeah.
way to, or get agreement with the other.
Yeah, because you're saying he buys it, he takes care of. He basically owns that piece as well. So, and that's always been the case with that piece of property and that parcel. From what you're saying, it's always been that
Makes
way.
sense.
As far as I know.
Yeah.
Well, I have a question.
I was
and
curious.
This is theoretical. Suppose something terrible happens to that detention pond. You know,
You're asking questions that's outside my scope.
okay, but I'm just,
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
All right, so are there any other
Do you have
questions?
something to say?
There are overarching agreements between our school.
Yeah. I figured.
Okay. All right.
Okay,
Okay.
so we got two conditions, and are we good with just those two then?
Yeah.
Okay, we've answered in the affirmative for all 10. Do we have a motion to approve?
Yes, I'll make the motion. Based on the findings previously discussed and voted on, I move that application number ZD 25-005, a request by Durbin Development, pursuant to the section 4.12.7 of the general commercial mapping, front setback, be approved for the following conditions. This variance, if granted, will apply only to this piece of property and will not apply to any other future development on the site plan, should this plan not be developed. Number two, variance would require that the building footprint be constructed as conceptually shown in the exhibit.
We have a motion with two conditions. Do we have a second?
Second.
This is Kathy will get the second. All right, we got a motion second. Any other discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. It's unanimous, so the variance is approved. Okay, the one thing real quick, the one thing we added real quick was the discussion. We're good, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
When
you.
are we looking at this coming?
We're working through the design right now. Most likely be completed next month or so. Start the permitting process, which I know is quickly. 120 days of construction, so hopefully beginning of next year.
Great.
Right.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So what I wanted to add, so back to halo signs. Is it time that we ask or request the planning commission to
Absolutely.
consider a text change to the code to allow halo illuminated signs, and so to keep them from coming back?
That was absolutely my question, my comment too.
Does that need to be
If you would make a motion, and two questions I have. One is, yeah, if you can do that as a motion, then it's an action by the board that I can move forward, and I can get Mr. Skaggs to sign the application for me. And it's, it is the body making that request, not Tommy Paradise out flying solo. The other thing is, do you want the downtown mixed use? There's two. There's downtown mixed use 1 on Georgia Avenue, and then there's downtown mixed use 2. Do you want both of those? If y'all were to make this recommendation, do you want to do it in both of those downtown mixed use districts, or one and not the other?
where's
What's
one
the
at?
other? What's number two?
One is Georgia Avenue, basically, and I'm talking off the top of my head, but basically up to about Carolina. And then everything else is pretty much to West Avenue, down the hill.
Somebody out there at exit 5 wants a nice halo sign.
A halo sign would be allowed, and if the reason you have this application is not because it's a halo, it's because internally illuminated signs aren't allowed in the downtown mixed use 2 and the downtown mixed use 1. So if
Is it really technically internally illuminated? Since it's casting the light behind it?
and that is an argument that can be made. I've wondered if wording with the neon tubing was trying to allow halo signage, but illuminated signage, if you've got a light behind it that's shining through, and it comes out through the sign so it makes it brightens the sign so that you can see it. In my book, that's internally illuminated. If but like it exit at exit 5, that would be allowed. General commercial is allowed. Most of our districts is allowed because internally illuminated signs are allowed. The problem is they're not allowed in downtown mixed use 1 and 2.
Going back to what you said, if the light's on the back and it's penetrating through and see the sign, that's internally illuminated. If the light's not penetrating through the sign, it's turned the other way and going backwards.
Well,
Behind it.
in either case, it's illuminating the sign from inside the sign.
So what I would suggest, section 9.6.3.2 .b states that signs shall not be internally illuminated. It says section 9.6.3.2 downtown mixed use districts 1 and 2. Generally, then it has what A, B, C, D, E, F, requirements. So I would suggest the motion would be to request the plan. Well, I'm going to reference the section.
Let me.
I have another.
Where are you at, Mr. Skaggs?
I'm looking at in that particular application on page 4 of 8. List all the requirements.
What's the section number? Looking in the book.
9632.
But does the ball field fall under that? George Avenue 1 and 2?
No, sir. I believe that's zone public.
So that's,
So that was last because we never saw those signs.
we never saw Swank, we never saw Brinkley's, we never saw we never saw the police station.
Well, you didn't have to because internally illuminating is
Is
allowed in that district.
Is allowed in that district, but down here?
But down here with the swanks and stuff, that is zone public use. The stadium.
Oh.
That or it's zone PD, one of the two. It is not zone downtown mixed use.
So, because Swank and Brinkley's are in the public use area.
Either
zone.
public use or PD.
Right. And it's allowed in that.
Correct.
Well, I wondered.
But we have to drive through all this to get to that. You already referred to this as the gateway. And, we approved it at the Med-Act. Who else if we know anything different might decide to change? Whatever goes into.
That's why we would approve it for District 1.
One, but what about 2?
Two.
Well, 1 and 2.
Yeah, 1 and 2. I think we need to request a text change to include halo lighting or whatever, soft, internally lighted, for districts 1 and 2.
Right. That's what I was getting at.
All right, so
Okay.
mixed use.
Make it, huh?
Now, and I'm asking here, so B says signs shall not be internally illuminated. Okay. Externally illuminated signs in which letters or graphics are constructed of neon tubing are permitted.
So you could change C.
Shouldn't we eliminate the 2 neon tubing? Because technically they can go right up here and put on this building right next door, put nails, spa nails and neon tubing, and they'll go right through.
That's what was been approved already.
All right.
Now on the new building across the street.
And what we're doing is talk about changing that.
Oh, I know, but I mean, can we make the amendment to eliminate neon tubing?
I don't think that's appropriate.
For District 1 and 2. All right.
What I would suggest is you take C and strike it and allow a halo illumination in there instead of neon tubing.
Yes. We need to get rid of the wording neon tubing.
They may have a reason to put neon tubing. Was a business open sign.
And then
Right. I
and-
think open is
Open.
okay.
Well, that's neon.
That's neon, but I don't think we should eliminate neon tubing.
Okay.
So here's what I was going to propose. I won't make this a motion yet. Is revise C to say externally illuminated signs and signs in which the letters or graphics are construction. Okay, wait a minute. So generally, make sure this reads right. Okay, externally illuminated signs, comma, signs in which the letters or graphics are constructed of neon tubing, comma, and halo illumination are permitted.
So basically, you're adding halo illumination to that.
It's permitted.
But are we, all right, B, signs shall not be internally illuminated.
That's fine, but we're adding halo is permitted.
And then B,
But how
You
can we say B? I can
Well-
leave that.
you could say signs shall not be internally illuminated except as allowed in C. That would prohibit your box signs and
Could we just request that they allow halo illumination and suggest us a change? Let them, since they write the thing here, let them handle it.
you certainly could. You could make the motion to ask them to look into allowing halo illuminated signage in the
That
downtown
section.
mixed use 1 and 2. And let them get into the weeds. That'll
Okay.
let
Right.
staff do some wordsmithing between now and then.
Okay, so y'all good with that? All right, so I'm gonna make a motion then.
Do we need to reference due to the last 15 time request?
I mean, that's certainly within the prerogative and gives you some
We're not just-
background.
Okay. All right. Okay, I'll make a motion. Because of recent sign requests to the BZA, I move that Planning Commission, a request that Planning Commission consider allowing halo illumination in signs in the downtown mixed use districts 1 and 2.
Second. Burkhalter second.
Burkhalter second.
All in favor? Oh.
Oh, you got that, Tom?
Because of recent requests to BZA, move to request Planning Commission
Consider
halo illumination.
permitting halo. Okay,
DTMU 1 and 2.
1 and 2. Got it. And we had a second from Mr. Burkhalter. Any other discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. That is a unanimous request.